Like damn, she wanna fall to touch me. I say I own it, and she got it.
What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. Let's dive into TNA Impact from June the 27th, 2024. A pretty okay show. We are officially on the road to Slammiversary. We're about 4 weeks away, and TNA should deliver, which they probably will, and I'm here for it. The match card is shaping up quite nicely for Slammiversary. So we kick the show off with Jordynne Grace. She comes out, she gets on the mic. Gia Miller mentions that Ash by Elegance has been trying to get the attention of Jordynne Grace for quite some time. Jordynne Grace says she saw Santina Marella and signed the contract, and she's going to give Ash by Elegance a title shot tonight. So George Iceman, he comes out. He introduces Ash by Elegance, and personal security accompanies both of them. He says there is a contract in a match, but it won't happen tonight. It won't be tonight. Instead, it's going to be at Slammiversary. So basically, since the contract is signed, Ash by Elegance is going to take a much-needed extended vacation in the Bahamas, and then for their own safety, they brought security to escort Jordynne Grace because she's violent. And so Ashton tells her security guards to go get Jordynne Grace. So Jordynne Grace takes out the security guards one by one, and then Santina Marella runs out to stop Jordynne Grace. So this was fine. This makes sense. So Jordynne Grace is geared to head to the back. Masha Slamovich's music hits, her theme song hits, and both of them lock eyes, and that was pretty cool. I like that. So this leads us into our first match of the night, that being Masha Slamovich. She defeated Xia Brookside via the help of Alicia Edwards. So Masha wins via the snowplow for the 1-2-3. I love Masha, but for the last, I want to say, year, she's not really done jack shit. She hasn't done anything since Mickie James has been with TNA. And it sucks. Masha deserves way better. The girl is super talented, and I have no idea why TNA continues to give her the short end of the stick, but it is what it is. I am kind of excited for Jordynne Grace and Ash by Elegance. I think that Jordynne Grace is going to ultimately end up losing to Ash by Elegance and actually getting into a feud with with Ash by Elegance. So I think that's what's going to happen. But we'll have to wait and see. Moving on. So, First Class, they're backstage. And so DJ Hoot Kid, he's backstage as well. So he catches up with AJ Francis and Rich Swann. DJ Hoot Kid gives AJ Francis the International Wrestling Championship, which was held by Killer Kowalski, the Iron Sheik, the Sheik, Mad Dog, Mahan, Abdullah the Butcher, Dino Bravo, and a ton of others. And basically, AJ Francis declares himself the new international heavyweight champion. And then AJ Francis says that Rich Swann will beat Nick Nemeth tonight. And DJ Hoot Kid is going to get him some drinks to celebrate. So that's pretty cool. I like what they're doing with First Class. I like First Class. I'm not a fan of the wrestling, but I like the character work that AJ Francis is doing. It's great. The wrestling, not so much. He can fuck up with that. Moving on. So Danny and Luna and Jody Threat, they're backstage. They're talking to Lars Fredrickson of Rancid. He gives them basically a tough love pep talk. He says that now is the time for them to double down. He said their final test is going to be Jody Threat versus Danny Luna. They're going to fight each other. He wants them to bring the violence in their minds to the ring, and most importantly, to each other. And then both members of Spitfire, they shake hands. Okay, this is fine. Do I care about it? No, not really. This is a waste of fucking time. What are we doing this for? This makes zero sense. Unless they're going to be the ones to defeat Masha and Alicia Edwards. So, I don't know. Moving on. Mustafa Ali, he's out next. He gives us another campaign speech, basically. So, Mustafa Ali comes out, he gets on the mic, he wanted to address what happened, which is the aforementioned video that aired during his showing his true colors. He said that was distorted audio and the images were unclear. And so the fans say that they want the truth. They can't. They want the truth. So Mustafa Ali says that he's got campaign Sting launching an investigation. The truth of the matter is AI generated fake news. The video was AI generated, basically fake news. He says that he would never belittle his great hometown of Chicago. He said he's their number one. But he said, they're number four. My bad. Most of what they're number one for is crime related, but still they're number one. That was a good one. I like that. So basically, Mustafa Ali just wants to have a future exhibition challengers lined up, ready to go for him. So speedball chants, they break out. The crowd wants Speedball Mike Bailey. My bad. Speedball Mike Bailey. I'm sorry. So the fans start to heckle Mustafa Ali. So a fan, which is probably a plant, basically just throws water on Mustafa Ali, pisses him off. Mustafa Ali beats the shit out of the guy. So Trent Seven, he comes out to try to calm things down. And the Speedball Mike Bailey comes out, and the two of them have a brawl and everything else. So Mustafa Ali and Mike Bailey have a brawl. And then he says that he's tired of hearing fans chant Mike Bailey's name. He's sick of being accused of dodging him. Mustafa Ali says that he's ruined his homecoming, so now he's going to ruin his, that being Mike Bailey. He's laying out a challenge for the Exhibition Championship between Mustafa Ali and Mike Bailey at Slammiversary. So Mike Bailey, he's happy that he's supposed to got the title back to Mustafa Ali. This is fine. This makes sense. Moving on. Mustafa Ali, my bad. Mike Bailey, he's backstage. He talks directly into the camera. Mike Bailey claims that it was a mistake to challenge him for a match in his hometown of Montreal, that being Mustafa Ali. So this is fine, even though I'm not a fan of Mike Bailey. I do think that he's going to be the one to dethrone Mustafa Ali. It makes perfect sense. And Ali's been champion for, I want to say, probably a good 5 months. He's been champion for a while, actually. So he's been champion for a minute. And I wouldn't mind Speedball being champion, as long as this leads into a feud involving both guys. Moving on. So, ABC, which is Ace Austin and Chris Bay, they won the triple threat tag match involving the Rascals, Trey Miguel, Zachary Wentz, and they also defeated Cody Deaner and Jake Something. So this is fine. This makes perfect sense. I still think that they're going to turn Jake Something heel. He's going to end up beating Deaner and turning on him, which is fine. Deaner fucking sucks, by the way. Moving on. So the System, they're backstage. They talk about Santino Marella always trying to stack the deck against them. But they always end up on top regardless. Moose brings up the fact of not losing a singles match in 2 years. Moose says that one person might be a problem, but Johnny Dango Curtis is going to handle that potential problem for him. All right. Moving on. Steve Maclin, he defeats Sami Callihan to qualify for the Road to Slammiversary. So, match was decent. It was alright. He wins via the KIA. Continuing on. So, Kushida defeats Alan Angels. He wins via the hoverboard lock. And then post-match, Jonathan Gresham, he comes out. He attacks Kushida from behind. Gresham tries to mist the black goo in the mouth of Kushida, but to no avail. So security is able to come out with masks and gloves to stop him. Makes perfect sense. I love what they're doing with Jonathan Gresham. Jonathan Gresham is great. I'm digging this new gimmick. I'm down for it. Moving on. So the Hardys, they had another broken vignette. So Matt Hardy talks about the system putting their hands on his wife against the odds. Then he announces a mixed tag match that's going to take place involving Matt Hardy and Rebecca Hardy, or Rebby Hardy, taking on Alicia Edwards and Eddie Edwards in Philadelphia next week. And Jeff Hardy, he finally mentions that it's going to be the Hardy Boys versus the System in a tag match in Philadelphia as well. This is fun. This makes perfect sense. I like what they're doing with the Hardys. This is great. I'm down for it. Let's see where this goes. Moving on, this leads us directly into the main event with Nick Nemeth defeating Rich Swann. So AJ Francis and DJ Who Kid, they try to get involved, and which they did, but the referee caught them and ejected them and everything else. AJ Francis also poured water on Dolph Ziggler. On Nick Nemeth. So Nick Nemeth wins, so he advances. He wins via the wake-up call. No, my bad. The danger zone, my bad. I don't know why I called it the wake-up call. The danger zone. So he wins. So we have 4 slots filled for the Battle Royal. For the Elimination 6-man Slammiversary. So we've got Moose. We got Moose, Josh Alexander, Nick Nemeth, and Steve Maclin. I assume Frankie Kazarian will qualify. He'll win his qualifying match next week, as well as Joe Hendry. So that leaves us 3 heels in Frankie Kazarian, Moose, and Steve Maclin. And the baby faces are going to be Nick Nemeth, Josh Alexander, and Joe Hendry. Who wins that match? I think it's going to be a toss-up between either Nick Nemeth or Joe Hendry. And it all depends on if Nick has fully committed to TNA. So I don't know if he's going to win or not. So if he wins, I'm fine with it. If Joe Hendry wins, I'm fine with it. But I think that that's the name of the game, is to take the title off of Moose and have the system implode and be done with. I think that's where we're going to see the end of the system. So this makes perfect sense. I'm down for it. Even though I'm not a fan of multi-man matches, but it is what it is. This makes perfect sense. But I like what TNA is doing for Slammiversary. I think Slammiversary is going to be massive. Also, a little bit of news and note. Dijak was let go from WWE. It wasn't on his end. It's this WWE did not renew his contract. They didn't even negotiate with him. So he is going to be a free agent. And that's kind of cool. Even though I'm not a fan of Dijak at all. I'm just not. But I think he might show up at Slammiversary. I think that would be kind of okay. The reason being is if Dijak goes to AEW, he'll just be lost in the shuffle and he'll just be on Collision and Rampage. That's it. But I could see Dijak coming in and working for TNA. I think that's what they might do. Again, I'm not a fan of Dijak. Just putting it out there. I'm not a fan of him. But that's what might happen. He might be one of these surprises for Slammiversary. But TNA this week was okay for the most part. And we'll see how next week turns out. But what did you guys think of TNA Impact? What did you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.